Now, Shiori is a State Department interpreter. State Department interpreters sign a contract saying that they cannot reveal who they have interpreted for in their assignments. Depending on the type of interpretation that you do, this type of confidentiality is core. So some assignments, you might be able to ask your client and say, on your resume that I interpreted for them on this date at this place. Some assignments have to be confidential. That's how it is. For example, in my resume, I have some assignments that I just say I was here at this place, everything else is confidential. So depending, confidentiality may be core, especially for State Department interpreters. You cannot reveal the details of who it is that you're interpreting for. So in Shiori's case, she of course didn't reveal, the heads of state that she's interpreted for, but I'm sure that there are people that you've seen on TV, people that you're familiar with, people you've seen on the internet that she has worked with before. And if anyone from the State Department is watching this, I'm coming for you. Meaning, I'm gonna take that test, I'm gonna rock it. And then the State Department is gonna become one of my clients later on, okay? Just wait, when the time is right, I'm coming back to DC, I'm gonna take that test, and we're gonna be working together moving forward. All right, it was great to hear from the other interpreters. You will find that there is a mix of interpreters in their education, kind of how they got into the profession. So you can see with Risa, for example, she didn't go to school for it, but was more so the school of hard knocks. So she didn't go to school, but it was more so on-the-job training, and then eventually got to the level of even becoming a State Department interpreter, which is one of the highest levels that you can achieve in the interpreting world, if not the highest, in the United States. So for me, for example, same thing. I didn't go to a university to receive or to get through a master's program. One of the most renowned master's programs is at a school by the name of Monterey in California, and they have a master's. You can go and achieve a master's in simultaneous interpretation and conference interpretation, I think translation as well. So I didn't go that route, and the same thing for me was a lot of on-the-job training. I started off in the hospitals interpreting, and then I went to court, and then court, you also do simultaneous in court, which helped prepare me to be able to do conferences like this. So everyone is gonna have their path. Some, go through school, some go through what's called the School of Hard Knocks. The partner that I was working with, same thing. That's who I got the term from, or the inspiration to use the term School of Hard Knocks for this particular video, because she came out of that. She received training from another person, didn't go to a school, but was able to continue, her work and be able to eventually become a simultaneous interpreter. So same thing. All right. Now, as you can see, my partner did not show up in any of the clips, and that was of my partner's choice. Completely fine. I completely respect that decision. And some interpreters just really want to stay in the background. And really, honestly, that's what the conference interpreting profession is about. Interpreters, our job is not to be in the forefront and to be in the limelight. Interpreters are in the background. Even so much so that for conference interpreters, I hear this again and again, that the absolute best comment that the conference interpreter can get from a client is, wow, were you even there? Meaning that you interpreted so well that they had to take a second thought and say, wow, were you even there? Because you interpreted so well. It was so natural. So my partner just wanted to be in the background. However, I did want to share some of, the conversations that we had. And, in particular, at the end of the event, when we were wrapping up, I asked her, as someone who has more experience than me, what do you suggest that I could do in order to become better? And I asked that because, I've been in the interpreting game for about 10 years, and she's been in it for, twice that long. While at the same time, Korean is not my first language. I had to learn it. I didn't start learning until after high school. So I'm always, seeking ways to improve. And then I also think that I need to have the humility to understand my situation and to be able to reach out to, native Korean speakers. So anyway, I asked her what I could do better. And she said something that really wraps the interpreting profession all together. She said that what is going to help you the most is not really understanding interpretation techniques. Kind of like, that's not where you don't have shortcomings there. It's not interpretation techniques, but if you really want to become more well-rounded with interpreting, then really expand your horizon. Really expand your horizon, really expand your view of interpreting, your world view. And it really stuck with me when my partner said that, because if you are a conference interpreter, you're actively working as a conference interpreter, it means that you're going to be traveling a lot. You travel to different countries, you travel to different states. As you're traveling, you're interpreting for speakers who have different world views. It can be heads of state, it can be presidents, it can be world leaders, it can be engineers, it can be anybody that you'll be interpreting for. And each and every person is going to have their own world view. So if you're going to give yourself the best chance of being able to interpret with correct expressions, then it's best that you really understand where a person is coming from. And to do that, you really need to expand your horizon. I mean, read more, think more. For example, she told me that recently, one of the thoughts that came to mind for her is that all this garbage that we have, where does it go? Where does all this garbage go? She just had that question pop up. And then after researching, she found that the large portion of the world's garbage ends up in Africa, and it becomes so prevalent in that particular region in Africa that even the local cows are eating clothes more so than they're eating grass to survive. So that's just an example, but it's things like this where you take the time in order to really delve into different areas of life that maybe, you didn't delve into before, and to really expand your view of what is going on all around the world. That's what conference. So the advice that my partner gave was nothing short of excellent, the way that I see it. So it was a great trip, great project, and I really look forward to the next one. And the last thing that I'll say is that, I extended my trip for another day and a half. And the reason I did that is to see family. In the places that I go to in West Africa, there's a saying that goes, what makes family is not the dirt on your butt, but it's the dirt on your feet. What makes family is not the dirt on your butt, but the dirt on your feet. What makes family is those that you see, okay? That you step out of the house, that you go, you travel to see. So I extended my trip. Today, I'm gonna go see some family. And with that, I'm gonna conclude this video series. It was great seeing you all. And until the next one.
이제 비즈니스 할 시기가 됐다고 다시 한번 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 우리는